2 days ago, Oracle shipped AI agents that can query your company's database, analyze the data, then write the report. If that sounds like the data analytics positions that you're trying to break into, keep watching because I'm about to show you the difference between the analysts who can ride this wave and the ones who will eventually get replaced. First, I'm going to break down what Oracle actually built and why this is different from all the other announcements that you've been seeing with AI. And then we'll dive into the specific skills that separate analysts who are going to get promoted from the analysts who get replaced and automated. And at the end of the day, I'm going to walk you through what to start learning right now so you're on the right side before all these companies start rolling this out so you can stay ahead of the curve. I'm Jeff. I've been working inside a healthcare analytics company for over 13 years. I currently work as a business analyst consultant at a top Fortune 500 healthcare company where I build automations, reporting systems, and AI-powered workflows. I also build AI agents for my own projects and in multi-agentic systems. So when a database company starts shipping pre-built agents that do analyst work, this is something that I'm paying close attention to. And I think more people who are trying to break in and people who are already in the industry should start paying attention to as well, especially if you're on the Oracle environment. So if you're serious about breaking into data analytics or future-proofing your career, hit that subscribe button right now because I'm on a mission to help 10,000 people break into data analytics. And I want you to be one of them. And I also want you to future proof your career once you get in. So let's break down what Oracle actually did. Oracle just built your AI replacement, but there's actually good news here because it's an opportunity. Even though it may not feel like it, there is opportunity as long as you're the one who starts to learn about it ahead of time. So the first thing that they created, or at least the first agent you want to know about, is a database knowledge agent. This is going to give non-technical users, so all the people who don't know SQL and non-technical stakeholders, the ability to use plain English instead of to create SQL queries. So then basically what's happening is the agent is going to be translating plain English into a SQL query so that they can get their answer. And one of the first things that you do when you're a newer analyst is answer a lot of inquiries about why this is broken. Can you look into this? Can you pull this data? But now if this is going to give people the ability to pull that themselves instead of having the analyst do it, you can direct your attention to more complex and complicated projects. The other thing that was built is structured data analysis agent. So what this agent is going to do is going to crunch tables, charts, trends, and anomalies. So now this goes deeper into the actual interpretation that a data analyst does. The analysis and the raw data out of the database, you can get this by feeding it into AI currently. Oracle is just building this directly into their products now. And then the last one is deep data research agent. This is going to use the multi-step reasoning that agents currently have. And again, it's existing technology. It's just now being natively ingrained in a database product. And if Oracle is doing this right now, that means that eventually other companies are going to do something similar. Because a lot of different companies are just trying to figure out how to improve their products with AI. And these are all things to note because Oracle is a big company. And then you could already see that they're making announcements and other companies are going to follow. Because on March 24, which is a few days earlier, this is when Oracle announced what they were calling AI Database Private Agent Factory. So that's complex corporate language, but let me translate. They basically built a no-code platform where business analysts and domain experts can deploy AI agents that sit directly inside a database. So there's no separate tools, no third-party services. The agents live where the data lives. And they didn't just build a platform, they shipped pre-built agents that are ready to go, the ones that I already mentioned. I'll explain how the job market is going to evolve, but this is something that should be on people's radar because it's starting to get built into database products currently. And now here's why this matters more than the last 100 AI announcements that you probably ignored because it wasn't directly related to data analytics. This is Oracle. This is not a startup demo. This isn't going to be a reskin chatbot of ChatGPT. Oracle says their database infrastructure runs across 97% of Fortune Global 100 companies. They bought Cerner for $28 billion, which is one of the biggest healthcare IT companies in the country. So if Oracle already inside healthcare and is massive and already inside the database that the potential future company that you're going to break into use, then Oracle ships agents inside these databases. Those are things you're going to have to know or learn or have it be on your radar. And it's not some far off future. This is happening soon. Next quarter, maybe even this quarter. And here's the part that hits closer to home for me specifically. In healthcare, you can't just send claims data to ChatGPT because it's PHI, it's protected health information, there's regulation, there's compliance, there's limitations. Most AI agent frameworks assume you're comfortable with sending data to external providers, which you can't unless your company builds or has a specific agreement with one of the AI providers. In healthcare, that is a non-starter. It has to be there. Now, what Oracle is doing, it's building these agents inside their databases already, which means they're already inside the firewall and it's already protected. On this is on-prem servers. So that means your data never leaves and it's owned by your own servers for your company. Because that means your data never leaves for these companies, which for most healthcare companies, that is going to be one of the biggest reasons for them to adopt this, especially if they're already on Oracle. Now, let's talk about something that a lot of people aren't talking about right now, because if your entire value as an analyst or a future analyst is I write SQL queries, build reports, then you're going to run into a massive problem later, because it's not that that's bad for the job, it's the job is changing. And because pre-built agents and AI is just getting significantly better from here, and it's shipping with these pre-existing products for Oracle and other companies are soon to follow, you're going to have to learn how to work with these agents and focus your time where you can deliver better value than just somebody who can be replaced by automations created by AI. And that's the uncomfortable truth. The task of querying a database, producing a report is being automated at the infrastructure level, not by some optional add-on, but now by the providers and the databases themselves. And here's the thing that you would want to think about is this is the part most people are going to miss is there's a shift that is happening right now. So if we look at things currently, we can break it down by these three major areas that are typical for analysts. They query, they analyze, and then they report their findings and then the business makes recommendations based on those findings. This is being automated. Futurum Group, a major tech research firm, published their analysis of this Oracle announcement, and they used the phrase that I think perfectly captures what's happening. They said we're witnessing a shift from data technician to AI shepherd. So this is the thing that I've been seeing across multiple tech companies and thought leaders that I've been following. We're moving from the execution to the actual direction. So we're going to be more like directors with the AI agent teams underneath us. So we have to learn how to best optimize and work with these AI agents. So if we look on the left side, what a data technician, data professional, data analyst, business analyst, anyone who's working with data currently, one of the major things that we're doing currently is we write the queries, then we pull data and we format the reports. Now, as an AI shepherd, what happens now is we need to direct agents who will write the queries. We will have the business domain knowledge to make domain judgments. And then we'll have the governance. We're in charge and accountable for the mistakes that these agents make. So when we look at what is happening, this is the change. Agents will do all of this now, writing queries, pulling the data, formatting the reports. But we need the domain judgment because agents are excellent at what they do. 95, 90%, 99% will get it done. But there's going to be those times where they can't interpret the ambiguous data correctly. They could be pointed in the wrong direction, and somebody still has to be accountable. There's always going to need to be human oversight, but there's going to be more agents that can replace people who do not learn how to adapt. So in this new model, the AI shepherd is going to direct the agent, validate the output, and catches when the model hallucinates, which is the most important thing moving forward. Because we have to know, are the agents making things up, or is this data that we can rely on? Which in all of the tests recently, a lot of different companies have just relied on agent output with no validations in place and have learned that agents have made things up, have hallucinated reports just to pass, and have given data back to the humans that run it in ways that makes it feel like it's accurate, but they never did their double checks and it was completely wrong. And in healthcare, that judgment is everything. You can't just let an AI agent run wild across claims data or patient outcomes without someone who understands what those numbers mean, what those regulatory implications mean, and what happens when downstream systems when a report is wrong. Even Gartner is telling enterprises to be cautious here. The industry term now is supervised autonomy, which means every AI agent deployed in an enterprise still needs a human watching it, human in the loop if you want to get a little bit more technical, checking the work, flagging the errors, making judgment calls when that the agent can't make. One of the things that I keep seeing in enterprise environments is this pattern. A new tool gets deployed, leadership gets excited, then someone has to make sure the outputs are accurate, the workflow is governed, and the results hold up under scrutiny, and somebody takes accountability if that's wrong and how to keep improving from there. That someone is an analyst. The opportunity is here. There's going to be massive opportunities for those people who get in early, but you have to get in early and wade through the mess of everything that is being created until you could figure out how to best use all of these tools. Because there's no official roadmap and AI keeps changing and evolving so fast that some of the things that I learned from my certification a month ago, 2 months ago, is starting to get outdated here. And one of the examples is prompt engineering. They created a way to structure out prompts so that it makes more sense from logical reasoning so that you can get better AI output. But now people are incorporating intent and context engineering to prompt engineering. So it's not just about the prompt engineering level. Now you have to optimize and engineer for your intent and for the context. And then also on top of this, it's also the memory for longer agentic systems. So things are moving fast and faster than a lot of these educational programs can keep up with. And that's why it's important to stay up to date with AI currently. Because inside this new environment, the old version of an analyst is just someone who pulls the data. The new version is someone who directs the agent, validates the work, bridges the gap between what AI produces and what the business actually needs. Through the creation of agents, it's going to open up new opportunities. Now you just have to place yourself in those opportunities to take advantage of it and be a first mover. So I know that was a lot of information. What do you actually do with this information? Here is what I would do if I were building my analyst skill set right now, and actually what I'm also doing to just keep up with AI since I'm already inside the field. Now, the first one that is going to be crucially important is learning how to write clear specifications for AI. This goes beyond clear instructions. Clear instructions help, but it's also knowing how to create the detailed enough specifications for AI to create what you need it to create and for it to validate and to iterate until it gets to what you need. This is going to, for those people who are familiar with some of the business analyst processes of gathering requirements or going on meetings and then diving in with talking with all the SMEs, the technical experts, and then seeing what the requirements are, what the problems are, the bottlenecks, then coming up with a technical spec and a solution for it, all of that, and learning how to package that in a way that AI can implement it on directly and smoothly is going to be one of the newest skills that I think is going to be valuable moving forward. And one of the biggest things here is because agents can't read your mind, but they can ask really good questions. But the people who can direct AI and have that foundational knowledge to pull the most out of those agents will get the furthest because they'll be able to get the best outputs. are the ones who can describe exactly what they need, what the data is, what the filters are, the time range, the format, the output, the business questions that need actual answering. So that's prompt engineering, but that's going to go beyond that. It's also just good foundational analytics thinking, defining the problem clearly enough before touching the data. And that skill has always mattered. And now it's going to become a whole lot more important. And then number two is validating AI output. This is going to be major because this is something that I'm struggling with right now because my output with AI has gone through the roof. I am the bottleneck now for everything. And on top of this, I have to validate the AI output. It's trying to keep up with AI's output on top of all of the work that I have. There's so many agents that can do so much work for me, but then it still comes down to me to be able to validate. And this is just going to be a more important skill is when an agent hands you a chart or data or a report or research that says claims denials dropped by 15% last quarter. Do you know how to check that? Do you have non-agentic AI tools that don't rely on AI that are deterministic, which is basically just means that every input that you put into it, you'll get the same result. So all of our old tools that we used to use in database, SQL, Python, being able to have that to do the checks on AI's output so that you have secondary validations and redundancy checks in place. Do you know what questions to ask? Can you spot when an agent pulled from the wrong table or filtered out records that it shouldn't or aggregated at the wrong grade or make sure that it doesn't have the permissions to delete your tables or know to have snapshots and backups of your tables when AI is about to run something. So it's knowing not only how to validate the AI output, but also how to prevent things when they go wrong. And this brings me to number three, which is going to be very important, is understand how agents work. Because a lot of people hear the term agents, but they don't really understand how they work. And you don't have to understand it at like a PhD or AI researcher level. It's just understanding it at the practical level. What's an agent framework? How does an agent decide what steps to take? What are the common failure modes? You don't need to build one from scratch. You don't need to be doing some of the things that I'm doing with building multi-agentic systems, but you do need to understand the tool well enough to direct it, troubleshoot it when it breaks, and understand that it's going to fail. It's going to forget. It's going to have memory issues when if things get too big and the memory has to compact on itself. Dealing with those memory issues now and understanding how to best optimize and create systems for that, that is going to be the skill moving forward. And that will project and push you ahead of most people because most people are not thinking to this level yet. Here's what I want you to take away from this is the analysts who learn how to direct these agents don't become less valuable, they become force multipliers, meaning that your productivity and your ability to work with these agents and your foundational technical knowledge are just going to be multiplied by the agents that you learn how to direct and learn how to use. One analyst directing 3 AI agents can produce the output that used to take a team of 5. That analyst doesn't get laid off, that analyst gets promoted, especially when they're early and they understand how to do this before all the other analysts and all the other companies catch up. That analyst becomes a person leadership can't afford to lose. This is the opportunity. People who get replaced are the ones who refuse to adapt. And for those of you who are learning and is the majority of you who are trying to break into this industry, this is what you need to also learn on top of what you're already learning. It doesn't mean that your foundational knowledge in SQL, in Python, in Excel, or Power BI and Tableau goes away. It just means you need to know this as your foundation because when you know the advanced ways of implementing this and all the concepts, then you can direct AI in more complex ways than just basic direction or basic people are doing. So you still have to do that. But on top of that, this is one of those things that is new. It's an opportunity for you to stand out in interviews. So start learning about this and start getting ahead. The people who understand the data, understand the business, and understand how to direct the tools, those are the people who will always have a seat at the table and will always be valuable. The tools will change, And there's going to be new innovative shiny tools, especially as AI lets us produce software at a breakneck speed. But what matters more is the judgment and the humans that are directing those tools and how much value they can pull out of those tools. And if you want to break into healthcare analytics and build the kind of analyst skill set that makes you irreplaceable in this new world, check out our Healthcare Analyst LAB. It's a community where I'm helping people break in and discussing how I'm staying relevant in today's AI world. Link is in the description below. And if this video helps you think about your career switch a little differently and gave you value, hit that subscribe button. And I break down what's happening exactly in enterprise AI and what it means for those who are trying to make the career switch every week. So watch this next video. YouTube thinks that you'll like it, and query responsibly, and I'll see you there.